across the planet.
About
About
It's
1,500
You need to
active
watch it.
volcanoes
And then you'll
formed
understand when
across
people
the
say that.
world,
You'll understand.
though
It's
countless
hilarious
others are
movie.
on the ocean floor.
Watch it in
Most
school.
volcanoes, whether on land or underwater, are
Yeah, I've seen
located
it.
where
I've seen
tectonic
that at school
plates
in
meet.
elementary school. Yeah.
Stratovolcanoes,
It's so funny,
which
and
often
it's about
appear as tall,
Groundhog Day,
steep
which is February
mountains.
2nd every year.
Shield volcanoes, which are flatter and dome-shaped,
Wow, but that's it.
as hot as the surface of the sun, transfers its heat to the surrounding rocky mantle. In doing so, the heat melts some of the rock. This molten rock, or magma, is lighter than the surrounding solid rock layer, so it rises through the mantle. The magma then escapes through vents in the Earth's crust. That gas formed in the mantle. In a phenomenon called pyroclastic flow, this gas
minerals solidify into crystals. This process
This is a special stretchy rubber rope. It's good for pulling. We're standing on a bridge.
Whether you're curling or crunching, running or riding, lifting.
Well, here's a hot topic for today. Who lives at the bottom of volcanoes? Hey, I don't. Only unicellular organisms, but shrimp, worms, sea. This is an ancient landscape. Actually, it's just a few. Take a look at this. It's our drifting plate magma plume simulator of science.
This is the Pacific Ocean. This is the Pacific Ocean floor, the Pacific Plate. And this is a boat. Now, near as we can tell, deep beneath the...
Bill Nye the Science Guy is brought to you by the law offices of magma, lava, tephra, and pumice, making mountains out of vent holes for over 4 billion years.
Take a look at this. It's a mountain. Well, actually, it's a volcano. Volcanoes are formed when hot, molten rock from deep inside the earth finds its way to the surface. Now, this isn't hot, molten rock. It's a mild acid. And to help it find its way to the surface, we'll add some sodium bicarbonate. This will be like hard rock.
Right.
Above the molten rock from deep inside the earth. See, the pressure builds up and it builds up. And eventually a volcano will erupt. It'll blow its top. It'll
Right.
explode.
When?
Anytime now. There it goes. You're saying, Bill, you know, I've made volcanoes like that in my kitchen. Maybe better. I mean, that's it? That's it? I mean, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Take a look. Volcanoes can blow down and top. And valves to keep water in the aquarium moving. See, it's just like in the ocean. Well, it's not just like the ocean, just like the ocean. It's not just like the ocean, it's an aquarium. It's a big aquarium.
This current, where does it get its power?
The sun. It warms water at the equator. It expands and flows towards that cold North Pole. Gives me the chills just thinking about it.
Have you ever heard of sea level? It means you're at the same height.
Tibet is also known for Buddhism, the Dalai Lama, and yaks.
And if you're about 100 meters below sea level, it means you're much lower than the ocean, right here in Death Valley, California. The lowest point this side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Death Valley is also known for crack.
Trees the data marker buoy.
Warning, do not apply sure grip to your head.
Check out this aquarium. Just like in the ocean, we've got fish from all over the place, and they depend on moving water for food and oxygen. That's why we have all these pumps.
A mass of rock which is probably bigger than Manhattan Island, and when it collapses it will generate ocean-wide tsunami, which will be at least as devastating as those that struck the Indian Ocean.
The vast amount of energy pumped into the ocean will create what one scientist has called a mega tsunami. Tsunami wave
Going to go during a future eruption, there's no doubt about that. The problem is eruptions occur sometimes every 20 years, sometimes every 200 years.
Maguire paints a terrifying fantasy picture of what anyone standing on the top of the landslide would see and hear.
I don't know if anybody's heard the noise made by this amount of rock sliding against another great chunk of rock, but I always imagine it as if there are a million fingers scraping down a blackboard.
The slide will reach a...
This is a mass of rock which is probably bigger than Manhattan Island, and when it collapses it will generate ocean-wide tsunami, which will be at least as devastating as those that struck the Indian Ocean.
The vast amount of energy pumped into the ocean will create what one scientist has called a mega tsunami. Tsunami waves racing out in all directions. Computer predictions suggest They could even travel 4,000 miles toward the eastern seaboard of the United States, losing some, but not all of their power along the way.
That wave will travel all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to the east coast of North America. But the water itself won't move all the way across. The individual particles in the water will transmit.
So the landslide energy transfers from water particle to water particle across the ocean. As the landslide's energy approaches the